Alright guys, today we're going to look at solving simple inequalities. What we're calling simple inequalities here is just an inequality that only has one inequality sign. I have another video you can check out on compound inequalities, which contain multiple inequality signs. Got a couple different examples here. We're going to go ahead and solve these, find the solution, and then display them graphically on a number line. So looking here first at my one on the left here, I've got negative 3 plus 3x is greater than 9. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and begin solving this for x. We're going to begin by adding 3 to both sides of my inequality. The rules for solving inequalities are very, very, very similar to solving equations, and so a lot of people they get messed up on inequalities for some reason, but most things are extremely similar as solving an equation. So I'm left here with 3x is greater than 12. Well, you can do 9 plus 3. Then my final step here is to divide both sides of my inequality by 3. That leaves me with x is greater than 9. And so that's my solution here. Now to show this on a number line, number lines work great for inequalities to display solutions. And so here I'm going to have 9, and then I'll have, for point of reference here, I'll have an 8 and then a 10 here. Inequality number lines always start from smallest to largest, moving left to right, and so I want to make sure to reflect that properly. Here on my number line it says x is greater than 9. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a circle, an open circle over 9. That open circle says my solution cannot be 9. This says rather x is greater than 9, so I'm going to have an arrow coming off going to the right, which shows, hey, my solution is anything greater than 9. And so that's the solution for our first one there. Looking at my next inequality I've got negative 2x plus 6 is less than or equal to 8. So again, I'm going to begin trying to get this x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides on my inequality. When I do that, I'm left with negative 2x. 6 minus 6 is 0, which is what I wanted. And that's less than or equal to 8 minus 6, which is 2. Okay, my final step here is to divide by negative 2, and this is really one of the few ways that solving inequalities differs from solving equations. Because I'm dividing by negative 2, which is a negative number, that leaves me with x, but it actually flips my inequality sign, and so now it's greater than or equal to 2 divided by negative 2, which is negative 1. And so that becomes my solution. That flip of my inequality sign is one of the most common mistakes made when people solve inequalities. And that only happens when you multiply or divide your inequality by a negative number. So for the solution, x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Here I've got my negative 1. I'll do a negative 2 and a 0 just for reference. I'm going to have a circle on negative 1, but this time it's actually going to be filled in. And the reason is because it says in my solution that x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So it could actually be negative 1, and so that's why we fill in our circle this time. And then it says x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So again, my arrow is going to move toward the right to show, hey, it could be any of these numbers as well. So this is just a basic introduction into solving simple inequalities. Hope it helps, and there you go.